Bobby, it's always a pleasure.
Good to see you, man.
Good to be here. This is Bobby Garza, Diamondback Country Knives. I've known Bobby for about 3 years now. In my first year, I did a video with him, blown away by his attention to detail, fit, finish, just absolutely amazing. And Bobby does the kind of work that I expect from a custom maker. Like he really embodies that. And so every year, you've done something a little new, you perfected something. I think part of what makes your knives so amazing is you're always improving and you're never satisfied, and that's why your knives look so good.
It's probably part of the perfectionist in me, which is always not so good.
Right.
You can ruin a good thing pretty easily.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes it works out.
Yeah. Well, especially with the knives.
Yeah. So you know, I do try to work on new models, and then you know, always tweak what I think may need tweaking. And I did that this year on a few different models. I have some new models, and I've tweaked a few ones that I've already had kind of in the lineup, maybe just to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing or a little more ergonomic.
So let's start small.
Okay.
One of my favorite models that you make is the Fire Ant. I love that you get your attention to detail and custom fit and finish in a knife that anybody can save up and afford and cherish and carry every single day. Usually I actually advise, if you're getting your first custom knife, get a little one. Get the one that you're going to use the most. You can show off your custom knife and carry it every day. That's what the Fire Ant is, but you now have the Fire Ant X. So tell me a little bit about what you have done with this knife.
So this is the new Fire Ant X model, and if you don't know anything about the X series, I do an X series off of existing models, and they're not always bigger. They could just be a different variation. And sometimes, unless you hold them next to each other, you may not see the differences because they are subtle, but once they're next to each other, they're obvious. And I think the Fire Ant is a perfect example of that. So it's slimmed down just a little bit. There's a swedge on the top now. The handle sweeps down just a hair, and it's a hair longer as well. So whenever you hold it, this is a 3-finger design. Your pinky will naturally float in the back part of the curve, and it is a perfect easy knife. This is definitely, like he said, a perfect everyday carry that you can just have on you and use the crap out of it.
I love it, and when I first saw it, like I said, Fire Ant's one of my favorite blades from Bobby. I just love it. When I saw it, I immediately was like, hey, that looks a little bit different, looks a little more aggressive. I really like the changes that you've made. I still absolutely love the original. I can't say that I like it better, it's just different.
Yeah.
And I love it.
You have to love your own work in order for other people to love it. And I'm still a fan of the original as well. But, you know, the blade is it's a little bit fatter. I think the handle is actually a little bit bigger as well. So it's still extremely useful, simple. You know, that one's just kind of a fancier version, I think.
Right. Awesome. Well, next thing up, El Gallo. Did I pronounce it El Gallo?
El Gallo.
El Gallo. I saw this last year. This was still in the in your head, or with just a blank last year.
I just had a cutout blank that I ground out. Yep.
So tell us about the El Gallo.
So I made this is not the one that was on the table last year. I did make another one and a few changes. Once I got in my hand up a little bit, I wanted to make a few changes. The swedge pulled back a little bit. The handle portion here for your fingers choked back a little bit further as well, so you can get a little bit more purchase in there. And after finishing this one, it feels pretty good. I don't see any further changes, but I mean, it's still fairly new, so I don't know until I get a little more use out of it.
Right. So to me, this looks like the ideal belt knife, similar to your copperhead, but where I see that being in the woods or for general stuff. This could be used for general stuff too, but I also see this as something that I would take on deployment or something like that. Not too big, not too crazy in any way, just very, very practical.
A little more pointy. Hence the El Gallo, which is the fighter rooster.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I'm going with that. Yeah, like the name. I just kind of swapped with him. Like, I kind of like the rooster guy.
I think roosters don't get enough respect in American culture for how savage and how cool they are. Yeah, they are. They are. I had roosters, not to get off topic too much, attack a fox that is now in my freezer. But yeah, so you've gone big too. I don't know which one to grab. I'll grab this one. Crotalis.
Crotalis.
Golly. So tell us about this amazing blade.
So this started out on paper, which most of them do, but this one just seemed to linger as far as the design wise on where I ended up. It was smaller. It was definitely, this is about a 10¼ inch blade. I had it about 8. And there was no choil. This wasn't as exaggerated, the finger guard. So when I put that on steel, for some reason it didn't look right to me. And so I kept going back to paper and then steel, paper, steel. Not cutting out steel, just putting it out. But once you lay it out on steel, it looks different. So, you know, this pattern changed probably 10 times. And I just kept exaggerating everything. This swedge was straight before, it wasn't curved up. So I eventually got to the point to where even on steel, I'm like, okay, I think that looks good.
Yeah.
And this is the finished version. I'm pretty happy with it. Basically everything from the original design was just exaggerated more.
Right.
And that seemed to be, you know, the right fit.
Yeah.
So the Crotalis meaning is basically the scientific or Latin name for rattlesnake. And I thought it was pretty appropriate. It's the biggest knife I've made. It's got almost a fang-like finger guard. And the balance point is right in the middle. So, you know, I have another one here which is a little bit thinner. It's a fancier version. This is going to be more towards where I'm going to be leaning for as far as any lower models. It's 1/4 inch steel. The balance point is right in the middle. So, you know, if you choke up in the front, it does feel like it's going to fall down.
Right.
So you get that close work up front. Chopping back is kind of a 2-part handle.
Yep.
The front feels good, you know, and then you can choke back and it'll swing. And this is also bottom end.
Nice. Nice. Well, I really like a forward balance knife of this size, but I do find myself really appreciating a Troil. And like you said, at the Troil, feels like nothing in your hands. You know, I'd feel absolutely comfortable whittling or doing anything in the bush with this knife right here. Doesn't feel cumbersome at all, but I still get the power that I feel like I want when I choke back on the handle, and it just locks in. Like your handle geometry is perfect. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
I love this thing, man.
And I did put a lanyard hole in the front, and that is purpose driven. In case you did want that extra support for a lanyard, you could run it through the front also.
Yep, yep. Good call. Good call.
And well, this one is basically the fancier version of it.
Yeah.
If you feel that one, pick it up. It's a little bit lighter. That's personally where I'm at. I like a little bit of thinner stock blade.
Right.
But I think for that big a knife, probably a 1/4 inch is probably right.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do a lot of custom orders. Obviously, if you're a little more like me and you want a little bit thinner, I would happily do it, and it feels like a fast knife.
A knife of that size being a little bit thinner, you mind if I pick it up?
Go ahead.
I was actually thinking of not picking this up and only doing up close footage to show you, because I almost don't want to touch it, it's so beautiful. But I feel like if I was like in the Civil War, this is the size and weight that I'd want in case I was hacking some folks.
It's nice and pointy and
Yeah.
choppy.
Yeah.
It's almost, you know, I kind of almost went for like a fighter
Yep.
chopper style. It's like a good mix. And that's, if you notice like the X versions and the new versions, I wanted to bring more swedges into my designs.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the newer ones, you know, reflect that.
So, and the other thing I think is we don't all live in environments where we're going to be splitting a lot of wood or something like that. So if I was primarily going to use my large knife, maybe for a little bit of splitting, but mostly for, like, say, some machete work, I'd go with something a little thinner. And I feel like I could work with this for a couple hours as a machete and be happy as a clam. It feels fast.
Feel that one in the middle. I mean, it feels way different. But right away you can feel it, right?
Yeah. Wow. I gotta get some. You'll have already been seeing some close-up work, camera footage of this thing. It's absolutely a work of art.
I appreciate it, man. You know, like I said, if I don't love it, I don't feel like other people can't love it. So I have to love it myself.
Well, and that's what makes it so great, and that's why you keep improving, is because you keep working on every design that you have until you love it. So, well, hey man, it's been great.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate seeing you here. I'll see you back at the pit later.
Yeah.
And if they want to find Diamondback Country Knives, they want to find you, where do they look?
I'm on Instagram as Diamondback Country, and also Facebook. Facebook has a business profile, but on that business profile there's a group page, and that's where you'll see everything that I'm working on, whips, all that, so any type of giveaways or even raffles I might do. A little more depth. The business page will only show finished work, so depending on what you're looking at.
And the group is excellent, and you get to see spoilers of things to come. You get to see on little details as he's working on them. It's really exciting. If you like his work, you get to see how it gets to where it is, which is really cool. It's really cool. So again, Bobby, I really appreciate it. Actually, you know what? You're kind of a family man, a family maker. Let's get your cousin in here.
Yeah.
Adam. Adam's here at every show. He's always super helpful. Really awesome dude.
Bobby's a good dude.
I'm glad that he brings you around. It's always awesome seeing you at the booth.
He balances out a little bit.
Right. So,
Large, medium.
So, but yeah, anyways, check out Diamondback Country Knives. And also, if you want to see how you can see what I do or how you can support my channel, will be in the description box below. I'll talk to you in the comment section below, and I hope that you have a blessed day.